Serena Williams has done it again, reminding the world why she's the titan of tennis. Last night, she upset the #2 seed.
The story begins with a whisper, not a headline, not a press conference, just a rumor, traveling quietly through the tennis world, that a legend who walked away 4 years ago might be walking back. Her name needs no introduction. 23 Grand Slam titles, a career that redefined an entire sport. And now, at 44 years old, Serena Williams is standing at the edge of one more comeback, and the whole tennis world is holding its breath to see if she'll take the leap. It starts at Wimbledon, the grass courts where legends are made and broken in equal measure. Serena steps onto the court for her first singles match in nearly 4 years. Across the net stands Maya Joint, young, hungry, unburdened by the weight of history. For a set, then two, then into a third, Serena fights. Her serve still cracks the air past 120 miles an hour. Her ground strokes still land like thunder, inches from the line, as heavy and fearsome as they were a decade ago. The crowd doesn't just watch. They hold their breath, wondering if they are witnessing a miracle unfold in real time. But something is wrong. Midway through the battle, Serena's body begins to betray her. Her knee, the same body that carried her through 6 US Open titles, now aches with every push, every pivot, every explosive step across the grass. She loses the match, and 2 days later, she's forced to withdraw from a doubles match alongside her sister Venus, the two of them, together again, only for it to end before it could truly begin. Then comes the image that stops everyone cold. Serena posts it herself, without warning, without spin. 4 syringes, filled with fluid drawn straight from her knee. No captions dressed up in positivity, just the raw evidence of what her body endured to get her through that match. It's a gut punch, and yet, buried in that same post, a flicker of defiance. She writes that the swelling shouldn't return like that again. A promise, maybe. A hope, certainly. And then, 5 words that ignite an entire summer of speculation. After the loss, someone asks Serena what comes next. She doesn't answer directly. She simply says, "Stay tuned to a city near you." 6 words that could mean everything or nothing. But for a woman who built her legacy on suspense, on delivering when the moment mattered most, those words land like a promise whispered just loud enough to be overheard. Behind the scenes, the picture becomes clearer. Rennae Stubbs, one of Serena's coaches, standing at Wimbledon just a week later, confirms what fans have been desperate to hear. Serena's intention, she says, is to keep playing. And not just anywhere, the US Open. The tournament Serena has conquered 6 times. The tournament that made her a global icon. The tournament where, if this comeback has a destiny, it feels like it's supposed to happen there. But intention and ability are not the same thing. Stubbs is careful, honest, almost protective in how she frames it. As long as Serena can physically go, she says, the hope is to get her back on court, hitting balls, rebuilding, within a matter of weeks. Not months, weeks. The clock is already ticking toward the US Open's opening day on August 30th, and every single day matters now. Then a detail emerges that changes the entire tone of the story. Long before Wimbledon, long before the syringes and the withdrawal and the cryptic warning to stay tuned, Serena had already been quietly preparing. She showed up at a Florida tennis club, the training ground of doubles legend Bob Bryan, and without announcing anything to the world, she had 12 rackets strung. 12. Bryan later admits she wasn't giving anything away in words, but actions speak louder. When a player quietly strings 12 rackets, you know they are not testing the waters. You know they are serious. And it wasn't just rackets. According to Stubbs, in the lead-up to Wimbledon, Serena was already dismantling players in practice sets, players who, at that very moment, were still alive in the tournament draw. Stubbs won't name names. She doesn't want to embarrass anyone. But the implication hangs heavy in the air. Serena Williams, 44 years old, 4 years removed from competitive singles tennis, was beating current tour players behind closed doors before anyone even knew she was back. So what actually happened against Maya Joint? The knee. Only the knee. Stubbs reveals a moment that never made headlines until now. Serena, mid-tournament, leaning in and whispering that she would have won that match if her knee had cooperated. Not arrogance, not excuse-making, just the quiet, private confidence of a competitor who knows exactly what she's capable of when her body isn't working against her. And the toll it took was visible if you knew where to look. Between every change of ends, Serena rubbed her legs again and again, fighting through something Stubbs describes as deeply unusual for her. Watching from courtside, Stubbs understood that this wasn't ordinary fatigue. This was pain. Serious pain. And still, Serena finished the match. She walked off that court under her own power, and most people in the stadium had no idea what she'd just endured. Stubbs calls it miraculous. She calls it proof of a pain tolerance that few athletes, in any sport, will ever possess. Now the story shifts toward the horizon. Wimbledon's grass, unforgiving and fast, is behind her. Ahead lies something far more favorable. The hard courts of New York, the surface where Serena has built an empire, won 6 championships, and terrified opponents for over 2 decades. Stubbs is confident that once Serena's feet hit those hard courts, her stability returns, her movement sharpens, and the version of herself that dominated the sport for so long starts to reappear. There's still a road to travel before then. Warm-up tournaments in Toronto and Cincinnati stand between now and the US Open, and if Serena wants them, wildcard invitations will be waiting, no questions asked. Whether she takes them depends entirely on one unpredictable variable, her knee, and how quickly her body allows her to trust it again. So here we are, a 44-year-old icon, drained fluid from her knee still fresh in everyone's memory, quietly stringing rackets, quietly dismantling current tour players in secret, and publicly promising nothing more than 6 cryptic words. Stay tuned to a city near you. Because if Serena Williams steps onto that court in New York this August, it won't just be a comeback. It will be the final chapter of a story the entire sport thought had already ended, and nobody, not her coaches, not her rivals, not even Serena herself, knows exactly how it's going to end.